I'm Alex, and welcome to Mind Life Weekly. If you're new to this channel, feel free to subscribe for simple psychology for life. Today, you will learn how to achieve success by developing the right kind of mindset. Now, let's begin. Success, a state of mind. A famous Baptist preacher, Charles Spurgeon, once said, "It is not how much we have, but how much we enjoy that makes happiness." The idea that success brings happiness is not as accurate as you might think it is. Most people misinterpret what success depends on. Many think that it depends on material wealth and fame, while it's determined more by one's mindset, whatever one's financial condition is. As Spurgeon said, it is not how much material wealth and money you have, but how you respond in your circumstances that makes you successful. Wealth does not guarantee happiness, and in turn, success. Some might become billionaires but remain miserable and unhappy for the rest of their life. They might remain in a perpetual state of restlessness, keeping on hoarding wealth, but never being satisfied, never knowing what it is that they lack. As American neurologist and psychotherapist Lawrence Kuby said, "The measure of health is flexibility, and especially the freedom to cease when sated." The ability to cease when sated, in simple words, is the ability to stop looking for more when a person becomes satisfied with what they have. It is the state of their mind that makes them truly successful. Success, after all, is not measured by a bank account. It is natural for humans to aim for success. However, success seems inaccessible to some people. They keep looking for it from cradle to grave. Most pass on not knowing what it is like to taste success, to taste pure bliss. However, being successful is as simple as having a well-lived life. Although this concept sounds simple, it's not as easy as it sounds. This guide will merely serve as an introduction. As suggested by the title, this video attempts to share the not-so-known ingredients in achieving a flourishing, healthy, and prosperous life. It is important to examine what separates winners from ordinary people if you want to understand how to achieve a successful life. It is essential to carefully assess the tales and toils of those who achieve their goals, who live a rich and happy life, and turn dreams into reality. Likewise, it's important to consider the people who feel unfortunate, people who were given bad lemons from life and who find it hard to turn them into lemonade. The main difference between these people lies inside the mind. One simple fact pertaining to success has surfaced with the help of continuous studies of scholars and the observations of philosophers. That is, there is always a probability for the two literal peas in a pod to be different from each other. In simple words, two people could be in the same situation and have wildly different outcomes based on their perceptions. An optimist could benefit from the situation and succeed, while a pessimist believes that their circumstances would keep them from succeeding in life. Although both could be poor, but one could work their way up, step by step, their lack of opportunity never hindering their way to success. On the other hand, the second person could just sulk all day, thinking about how the universe has always been cruel to them. This mindset refrains them from being productive. Previous studies have proven that the contrast between the two individuals neither depends on their personality nor their capability, but rather on their mindset, their attitude, approach to various situations, and their relationship to their intuitions. These are the things that govern a person. A ceaseless struggle. One of the most fundamental truths in life is the fact that the mind can lead the way to a successful life. But success requires action. People must do certain things over time to succeed in life. For example, if you want to be a published writer, you have to practice every day. Practice does not mean only writing and writing. You also have to read every day, to learn about the tools to make your writing better. As Stephen King, the world-famous writer of horror and supernatural fiction, puts it, if you don't have time to read, you don't have the time or tools to write. If you don't read regularly, you won't be able to improve your writing skills. The same goes for every profession. Whichever profession you're trying to pursue, there's no shortcut to success. You'll have to work at it, practicing and learning various things relevant to that field along the way. You'll have to polish and refine your skills, analyzing your work, and learning from your errors so you could amend them. This is how you break through to success. Doing something and repeating it does not mean repeating the same action over and over again, which would be ineffective in the long run, because it wouldn't improve that skill. Instead, it means doing something like learning a skill and then doing something else which could polish that skill even more, and keep on learning new things related to that skill, or modifying your skill to make it more efficient and time-saving. It is a continuous process to become better, which makes success an outcome of continual effort, non-stop learning, and constantly examining your skills and learning from your mistakes, modifying and tweaking along the way. This may seem reasonable and doable on paper, but you might be thinking, how can someone get the inspiration to do it, the drive to keep on doing it, regardless of the circumstances? Mainly, it is important to have the right state of mind to have the capacity to do something, the willingness to make it better, and the ability to do it again. Also, you need a complete awareness of how you think to achieve the right state of mind. You have to carefully meditate and observe yourself and your surroundings to have peace with yourself. This state of peace is the state of having the right mental state of mind. Achieving the right kind of mindset. As Buddhist spiritual leader Dalai Lama said, we can never obtain peace in the outer world until we make peace with ourselves. Making peace with yourself means cleansing your mind by organizing all your cluttered thoughts so you could understand what it is that your mind seeks. This would help in understanding your goal so you could focus on it. When you finally reach this point, you have to develop the right mindset to have the drive to continue achieving the goal. Psychologist Carol Dweck described two kinds of mindsets that govern people: fixed mindset and growth mindset. It's people with growth mindsets who achieve success in life. Not all of them were born geniuses. They worked to broaden their mind and expand their potential. Thoughts and feelings determine our actions and behaviors. They can also affect our ability or inability to think through a situation. Therefore, it is necessary to develop the right kind of thoughts and feelings, because how a person feels and thinks will determine one's success. You will make mistakes. You will fail. But you'll have to think about this constructively, because optimal learning often requires making mistakes. In conclusion, you'll have to analyze your thoughts, your behaviors, and see if they help in attaining your goal. If they don't, try to modify them so they could help you in your mission. Your immense potential. Some studies claim that people only use a small fraction of the brain. Some say 10%, while others even say just 3%. If only 3% of the mind is used, it simply means that there is an unused 97%. Although there is some truth in this statement, it cannot be considered a complete fact, as these percentages don't actually physically exist. In reality, every person uses all parts of their brain, all neurological connections. But as you learn something new neurological connections, called synapses, are formed in your brain. Even more synapses are formed when you improve that skill by exploring and learning new things related to that skill. What this means is that you all have an untapped potential mind power. Your brain can do so much more, so it means you can do more than what you are already doing. For example, let's look at a bonsai. A bonsai is a miniature tree that is used in Japan as an art form. It is created by regularly pruning a source material like a small tree, a seedling or a cutting, confining it to a pot and shaping it to be relatively small. But if the gardener chooses to let it grow freely by letting it out of its pot, it will grow to be a huge tree. This growth of the tree can be described in relation to the growth of the brain. Unfortunately, Despite the mind's potential to grow big, many people create a bonsai out of it. Although it remains neat and tidy and it works, it is just a tiny version of what it could be. This is a big problem. However, fixing it is not as easy as saying to oneself, "I'll stop being a bonsai and become a tree instead." The brain requires time for it to grow big and develop its potential. Studies have emphasized that the brain has an enormous capacity to broaden. Imagine if you kept tending to your brain like one tends to a plant or a tree, feeding it with knowledge like the sunlight and water that feeds the tree, letting it think outside the box, like one would not confine a plant to a pot if one wants it to grow into a tree. Imagine how much potential there is to be unlocked if you hypothetically only use 3% of your brain. A discourse of gifted and ungifted. But all this wouldn't prevent the insecurities from creeping in. You would question your ability. You might think that you're not one of those gifted individuals who have a hidden chest of potential which they could dig up whenever they wanted to. You might think you're not gifted, so there's no use trying. But you have to consider this. Success is encoded in our genes, therefore programmed at a genetic level. You have a continual line of ancestors who succeeded in bringing you into existence. If you could go back to the beginning of life on Earth and trace the lineage of one organism to another, you would realize that every one of them passed on the success gene to the next. That particular gene is the one which selects the desirable characteristics in organisms, characteristics that help them to survive. Organisms who didn't have those characteristics would not be able to survive, and their line would cease to exist. Let's take an example of giraffes. They used to have much shorter necks. Yes, you heard that right. Over time, they developed long necks to reach more food sources, like trees. Also, the longer the neck was, the stronger the giraffe was. Long necks also meant more surface through which excessive internal heat could escape, so this also helped in regulating the body temperature in hot African climates. So over time, giraffes with short necks died out. This example explains that the mere survival of a person is proof of one's potential and success. Charles Darwin, an English biologist, summarized this concept as the survival of the fittest. The people who survived were the ones fittest to do so. You exist today because your ancestors struggled and survived long enough to create you. Therefore, every person must realize that each one has inherited the basic biological success of thousands of generations of people that have come before. The growth phase. Every person has potential. Some have the potential for immense physical strength. Others possess the potential for exceptional mental ability. But potential, although essential, is not enough for true success. You have to develop your potential and make it outstanding. So if you just sit on the couch all day, the potential will not develop. If you, however, sit on the couch all day doing something to polish your skill, then of course, that's just fine. Like muscles, your mind's potential needs exercise. It has to be stimulated to grow to its fullest potential. This can be accomplished by doing all those things that pave the way for success. The key to living a successful life lies in tapping into the potential that is living inside each person at present. The key is to give it enough time to develop. You should give your mind sufficient time for growth and enough chances for stimulation. As the growth continues, you should constantly be aware of what is happening, and in time your mind will increase its abilities and will be able to access its untapped potential. As your IQ level, intelligence level, increases as a result of proper stimulation, you would also be more equipped to achieve financial and personal success in life, and you'd feel more capable of accomplishing goals. Possibly you would also find love or even have a richer family life. Most importantly, you will have more chances of attaining a truly happy and satisfying life by achieving what once used to be a dream. An absolute utilization of the human mind. All in all, it is up to you to understand the optimal state of mind in which you'd be able to work more efficiently towards your goal. Let's take an example of an exotic fast car with 5 gears and a strong engine. How exhilarating would it be to drive such a turbo machine? But can you imagine how difficult it would be for that car to be driven in reverse? Despite all its power, it would be tricky to navigate and steer that vehicle, and if driven backwards, it wouldn't be able to rapidly accelerate or travel quickly. Time and energy would be wasted. Driving a car in reverse is similar to driving your mind ineffectively. It's difficult to steer your attention and hone your focus in this way. Okay, you might be thinking that any vehicle that's being driven backwards is still moving. It can go to most places, it can manage, it can make do and get by. But getting by isn't what we're looking at here. It's guiding to squeeze every last drop of your mind's potential so you could benefit from its complete utilization. The main problem in the previous example is that a fast-moving car is not being used suitably, hence it loses its purpose. However, when you use something in a way it was intended for, benefiting from all its possible functions, then the experience becomes pleasurable and enjoyable. You can then say the vehicle was utilized efficiently. The mind can be compared to the car we used in this example. It should be used in ways it was planned for. Only then it will be more effective and efficient in planning and striving for personal and professional goals, therefore making life far more enjoyable. Yes, I know what you might be thinking. This is easier said than done. Perhaps even wondering how you'll use your mind more efficiently. But when you do, you'll taste that rare pleasure of feeling like you have used your mind's optimum potential. Because you'll have that sense of accomplishment and a sense of clarity that you've done yourself justice. If you are wanting a guide, a recipe to follow so that your mind can ripen, flourish, and achieve what you want, then we've got you covered. In our next video, we will get down to basics and look at certain conditions that you'll need to have inside your mind in order for it to grow, thrive, and achieve what you want. We will discuss this and much more in our next video, so stay tuned. Okay, that's about it from me. As always, thank you for watching Mind Life Weekly. Give us a thumbs up, share this video, and be sure to subscribe, because more fresh and exciting content is on the way.